What does Valverde and KLOPP have in common? Absolutely nothing, because one of them is an actual competent manager. What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here. Welcome back to another video here on the channel. If you cannot hear, I'm a little bit sick. That's why I haven't been able to post in the past few days. It's probably one of the worst colds I've had since I was like 12. I don't know what has happened to me. My body has just gotten accustomed to the wilderness of England and not too much to the tropicalness of South America. But yeah, so today I thought we would go over a poll that Mundo Deportivo made to 300 socios in Barcelona. They asked them several different questions regarding whether they want Valverde to continue, whether they want Dembele to continue with the club or not, and many more of that same ilk. So we're gonna be starting off with the very first of those questions, which involves who would they want if Ernesto Valverde was to leave. So I may have already hinted at the person that Barca socios would want to replace Valverde, and that is Jurgen Klopp. Klopp won the poll with 33.6%. In second came Ronald Koeman with 31.96%, which is super close. Roberto Martinez with 17%, then Guardiola with 7%, and then Robert Moreno, interestingly, with 3.3%, and so on and so forth down the pecking order. But I was very surprised with Jurgen Klopp, and it makes a lot of sense from a kind of media perspective, because right now he's probably the most competent, most kind of representative manager that you can see in the world of football, because he is of course managing the best team in the world right now, that is Liverpool. I want you to remember though that this pool is only of 300 socios, 300 Barcelona fans. And those fans, those members and make up part of the club, they're not necessarily kind of like, they don't live in actuality. They don't have to do that by any means. They might be a little bit older, they might be of the third age, and they might not consume and know so much of other managers, perhaps someone like Erik ten Hag, because ten Hag just got barely 2% on the poll. While I know that if I make the poll for all of you guys in this channel, you will probably vote Erik ten Hag way higher, and maybe kind of like in the top 3. Certainly more than someone like Robert Martinez. So it makes a lot of sense, Roberto Martinez. It makes a lot of sense that all of this together would put Jurgen Klopp at the top of the pecking. But the thing is that I don't see Klopp coming to Barcelona anytime soon, because if this was supposed to happen, he will have to leave next season, and that won't happen because he's still a very big part of Liverpool, and his generation, kind of like his cycle, hasn't finished just yet. A lot of the players that he has, like Salah, Mane, and all of them, are still in there for kind of like one more year at least, if they want to leave for a bigger move per se. And you can already see that Klopp is making those little signings, astute signings, to kind of progress for another cycle. Buying, for instance, Minamino, that can become someone very important for them in the future. So in reality, I don't think this has any legs, and we simply shouldn't go down that tunnel, because it will lead absolutely nowhere. So the next question that the socios were asked was, what would they do with the Frenchman? What would they do with Ousmane Dembele? And a massive, I'm telling you, a massive 72.66% of the voters said that they would let the Frenchman go at the end of the season. So I wanted to take this kind of time to put my own opinion on it and tell you what I would do if I would sell Dembele or not. And in reality, I'm not that opposed to the idea of letting Dembele go, because before we simply didn't have any other options, and now we have kind of like the growth of someone like Ansu Fati, and then Carles Perez as well added to the mix, Pedri coming next season. So we have some options in attack now that before we didn't have at all. Plus Dembele, I don't think we'll get anytime soon to develop, especially if someone like Luis Suarez doesn't decide to drop by the end of the season or go somewhere else. I don't think simply it's going to happen. Griezmann, Suarez and Messi will play at least 80% of the games next season if they all stay. And Dembele, if he wants to develop and reach the heights he was previously at Rennes or at Dortmund, he will have to play at least 50. Another factor that adds to that is that he's getting, of course, a lot of injuries, and that's something that nor him or us can control, and certainly not the club as well. It's just something part of his body, I guess. it keeps devaluating the player. And it makes absolutely no sense to keep this player bench where he's just gonna be going downhill. And of course, yes, he's very young, like just what, 21, 22 years of age. So I'm thinking honestly, it's time to cut our losses. And if he doesn't come back of injury this season and kind of like once again prove why he needs to be here in Barcelona, I think it would be smart to let him go. And if Barcelona are crazy enough to pursue Neymar time and time again, I wouldn't be surprised if they really wanted Neymar and they would just offer Dembele in the deal to Paris Saint-Germain. So at the current moment, I'm with that party that says that we should sell Dembele because it's just unfortunate what has happened to him here at the club. He has a lot of potential and I would wish him very, very well, but right now it's not smart to keep with him. I really do not think it's that smart of an option. And well then, the third question that they asked was, which player would they sell, Arturo Vidal or Ivan Rakitic first? And a lot of the socials went for Arturo Vidal. And I'm gonna be covering this topic just specifically on Vidal because there's so much surrounding this player right now with kind of like him suing Barcelona for extra bonuses he wasn't paid and so on and so forth. So I really wanna kind of like devote the time just to him. But it's very interesting to see that I know the fan base would prefer to kind of let go of Arturo Vidal than someone like Ivan Rakitic. I think that you need kind of weighing up the players. The one that could give us more to the squad in this current moment is actually Arturo Vidal. But when we think about the money, when we think about kind of progressing new players into the team, Arturo Vidal at 32 years of age, now on 33 almost, makes sense for us to let him go. And I say this because the next question that Mundo Deportivo asked the socios was which player would they like to promote to the first team, who are they most anxious to see. And by a whopping margin, Riqui Puig was that player. And then it makes me very happy because Riqui Puig is kind of like a player I was scared that he would just like fall out from the wayside since we saw the rise of Carles Perez and Ansu Fati. But in reality that hasn't happened because completely different positions. A lot of us are still thinking about that day when Riqui Puig makes the jump to the first team. And I think that that could happen even this winter transfer window or the next season. Because if we get rid of Arturo Vidal, and well, now Carlos Arañata went to Real Betis, and I also want to talk about that a little bit more in depth in the next video. It makes sense for Riqui Puig to then take a position in the first team because we will be losing two midfielders, so now kind of one replaces two. So it's a good opportunity for him to take, and I'm just honestly very happy that he finally might get his chance. So with that, I kind of want to move you to the next video that I want to make, which is about that, the midfielders, Vidal, Puig and Carles Araña. So I'm just gonna wrap this one up right here and hopefully you have a great 31st, a great New Year's Eve, or I don't know how you call it where you are. And yeah, that's gonna be it. See you in the next one. Take care. Ciao.